The hardest battles are reserved for God's strongest soldiers. Are you feeling the weight of your calling? Ever wonder why your path seems harder, even when you're doing everything right? You're not alone. If the enemy is fighting you harder, it's because you're a threat to his plans. Being chosen by God doesn't make life easier, it makes the battle more intense. When you're walking in God's purpose, resistance isn't a sign of failure, it's proof of your divine assignment. The enemy doesn't waste his attacks on those who aren't a threat, so why do you think your life has been so hard? Some people walk through life with ease, but the chosen ones? We walk through fire. If your journey feels impossible, remember, diamonds are only made under pressure. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to carry a different weight in life? That feeling that even doing everything right, the path is harder for you. It's not your imagination. God's chosen ones face unique battles that others simply do not understand. Have you noticed how those who seek to please God the most encounter the biggest storms? As if the enemy had a special target on their backs? If you feel this way, you might be one of the chosen, someone set apart for a greater purpose. The truth is that being chosen does not mean having an easy life. On the contrary, it means facing deep pains that shape your character and prepare your spirit. Pains that confuse but transform. Pains that seem like punishment, but are actually signs of the divine calling in your life. If you have cried alone without understanding why God allows so much suffering, if friends have distanced themselves for no apparent reason, if you feel you carry a weight that others do not see, this video has been prepared especially for you. I will share the 5 pains that only those chosen by God face. And believe me, by identifying them, you will understand that you are not crazy, you are not being punished, and most importantly, you are not alone. Thousands of chosen ones throughout history have felt exactly what you feel. Watch until the end, because in addition to identifying these pains, I will show you how they are actually tools in God's hands to forge something extraordinary in you. Something that can only be born through fire and pressure. Something that will impact generations. And if you identify with what I am going to share, don't forget to follow our channel. We are here to strengthen the chosen and remind them that despite the pain, God's calling in your life is worth every tear shed. Shall we begin? Remember that friend who stopped calling you? The family that started looking at you differently, the colleagues who no longer invite you? Rejection knocks on the door of the chosen without warning. One day people are there, the next they are gone. You review your actions, ask what you did wrong. Seek to understand the reason for the distance. But the truth is simple and painful. You haven't changed. Your light has increased. And that light disturbs those who live in the shadows. The chosen carry a presence that confronts not through words, but through essence. Your mere existence questions the values, choices, and crooked paths that many prefer not to see. So they distance themselves because it is easier to reject than to transform. When Jesus began his ministry, even his family doubted him. His fellow townspeople rejected him. "Isn't this the son of the carpenter?" they asked with disdain. The very Son of God experienced the abandonment of those who should have recognized him. This pain has a purpose to teach you to depend less on human approval and more on divine approval. When everyone is applauding you, it is easy to confuse pleasing people with pleasing God. Rejection clarifies this path. Your journey as the chosen requires detachment. The people who accompany you today may not be the same ones who will be with you tomorrow. God removes those who cannot walk in the rhythm of your destiny. You will notice a pattern in rejections. They often happen right when you are drawing closer to God, when you decide to fast, when you intensify your prayers, when you abandon old habits. This is not a coincidence. It is a spiritual strategy. What seems like abandonment is in fact divine filtering. God is cleansing your circle, removing those who pull you down, distancing those who would be obstacles ahead. Today's pain is tomorrow's protection. The chosen learn to love from a distance, to bless those who have hurt them, to understand that many people are just temporary in their story, not permanent characters. This hurts, but it frees. This rejection is not punishment. It is preparation to lead. You will need to endure criticism, to prophesy. You will face disbelief, to serve. You will be misunderstood. Rejection prepares you to persevere. When everyone doubts you, you will realize that some reject you not for what you have done, but for what you represent. Your presence reminds others of their abandoned commitments to God. Your faithfulness exposes the unfaithfulness of others. Your light reveals the darkness that many prefer not to see. Stop trying to win back those whom God has removed. If doors have closed, do not force your way in. Trust that new relationships will come, people who understand your calling, respect your vision, and strengthen your walk. There is a type of loneliness that cannot be resolved with company. A room full of people can be the loneliest place in the world for a chosen one. You talk, smile, participate. But inside you feel an emptiness that no one can reach. How do you explain that within you exists a universe that others can't even imagine? Have you ever caught yourself thinking things that you can't share with anyone? Dreams so big that they would sound like madness. Revelations so profound that others would call them fanaticism. The chosen carry visions that few understand, and keeping that inside hurts. Others talk about jobs. You think of ministry. They discuss politics. You see spiritual battle. They worry about tomorrow. You perceive eternity. They are different worlds, distinct frequencies. And this creates an abyss of communication that pushes you into loneliness. This loneliness has a name. Purposeful loneliness. It is when you walk toward a destiny that only you can see. Others may love you, but they cannot see what God has placed in your heart. The weight of the vision is yours alone, and carrying it by yourself is exhausting. The silence that follows your prayers can be deafening. Sleepless nights struggling with doubts you dare not share. Crises of faith you hide even from those closest to you. A chosen one learns to fight alone because some battles are too personal to be shared. Jesus experienced the peak of this loneliness in Gethsemane. He asked the disciples to pray with him, but they slept while he sweated blood. Even God incarnate felt the weight of not being understood. Father, if possible, take this cup from me. A request made in the deepest solitude. Have you felt this anguish, having friends, family, brothers in faith around you, yet feeling that no one truly understands your pain, your struggle, your calling? This is the hallmark of a chosen one, that sense of being out of place, even among your own. Loneliness also appears at moments of decision. When God asks for something radical, human advice usually points to the safe path. Be prudent, they say, but the Spirit whispers trust and go. And no one but you hears that whisper. The decision, with its weight and consequences, is solely yours. The chosen face loneliness, even in moments of celebration. Spiritual victories are rarely visible. Battles in the invisible realm do not yield trophies that you can show off. And so you celebrate alone, miracles that only you know have happened. The danger of this loneliness is the temptation to give up, to silence the voice of God, to fit in, to downsize the vision so as not to seem strange. Many chosen trade their anointing for a bit of acceptance. They exchange their heavenly calling for the comfort of belonging to the group. But there is a secret in this loneliness, a hidden gift. In the silence of others, the voice of God becomes clearer. In human misunderstanding, divine understanding deepens. The lack of horizontal company intensifies vertical intimacy. It was in the solitude of the desert that John the Baptist received his message. In the solitude of Patmos that John saw the apocalypse. In the solitude of prison that Paul wrote letters that changed the world. Loneliness is not punishment. It is an incubator, a school for prophets, a forge for leaders. The chosen learn to find comfort in the only one who truly understands God. The presence that never fails. The listener who understands even the unutterable, groans. The companion who knows every tear before it falls. Loneliness also prepares you to lead, because one day others will feel what you feel today. They will come to you, broken by the same kind of misunderstanding, and you will be able to say, I understand. I have been there. You are not crazy. You are not alone. And your embrace will carry the weight of experience, not just theory. One thing is certain. This phase of deep loneliness does not last forever. God always connects the chosen to one another at the right time. People who speak your spiritual language, who understand your struggles without detailed explanations, who see the same horizon that you do. Inside every chosen one exists a silent battle that no one sees. A battlefield where two natures confront each other daily. On one side, a spirit that longs for God, on the other, a flesh that resists. It is an exhausting struggle that takes place in the territory of your own being. The mental confusion is real. You love God deeply, but you find yourself having thoughts that shame you. You get up to pray and feel sleepy. Thanks for watching.